So let's get into it. Week 4 of the NFL. So we have the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Minnesota Vikings. The Pittsburgh Steelers jumped out to an early lead and held off a late rally from the Minnesota Vikings to secure a 24-21 victory in Dublin, Ireland to kick off Week 4. The defense came up big in the final minutes, stopping the Vikings' final drive and outside field goal range to preserve the win. It was really, I felt like, competitive game. I didn't really, sometimes I felt like I didn't know who was going to win. But ultimately, the Pittsburgh Steelers came through. They was victorious, and they put another W in the win column. So we had the Houston Texans versus the Tennessee Titans. This game wasn't close. 26-0. It was the Houston Texans picked up their first win in a dominating fashion. It was beautiful. I've kind of been concerned about C.J. Stroud, like what's going on. I know he kind of lost some of his weapons with Tank Dell. So, I felt like he's kind of been in a slump, but it was good for him to get that in the win column. Very big for him, and I know he's happy. I know his team is happy, and hopefully they could build on this momentum. So we had the New England Patriots and Carolina Panthers. Now, Drake Mays threw for 203 and 2 touchdowns and added another score on the ground as the New England Patriots cruised to a 42-13 win over the Carolina Panthers in Week 4. The rookie quarterback delivered one of the most efficient performances to date, helping the Patriots build a 28-6 halftime lead and never look back. I don't know what's going on with Bryce Young. I personally is not a big fan of the small quarterbacks. I know Russell Wilson defined the odds when he was in Seattle, but Bryce Young, he looks like a little boy out there. But it's hard to tell because sometimes you're just on a bad team and they bring out the worst in you. And sometimes you go to a new team and they bring out the best in you. So it's hard to tell what's going on. Is it just he doesn't have the talent for this level, or it's the team that he's on? But soon enough, I feel like the Carolina Panthers are going to have to make a decision on him because I feel like they're building, picking up some of the receivers, the receiver from Colorado. They also got the receiver from Arizona in the draft. So I think they're building, I feel like they have potential. Obviously, they got holes in areas they need to fill with talent, clearly, but it's also coaching, but it's hard to tell with the quarterback. But we'll see, shout out to the Patriots. They delivered, 42-13. If you want to talk about an ass whooping, that was built to ass right there. The Detroit Lions versus the Cleveland Browns. After a slow start, the Detroit Lions kicked into gear and handed the Cleveland Browns through all 3 phases of the game. So, the Detroit Lions pretty much dominated that game from start to finish to me. They started off a little slow, but they came through. I feel like with Jared Goff, if you could keep them uptight, the offensive line, the O-line can do their job and protect him, and he has a clean pocket, he's going to always deliver. I feel like, the Rams overlooked him, but he's been a great addition to the Detroit Lions, and I feel like they're back in groove, and, hey, it looks like, Week 1 is a distant memory to them now. So shout out to the Detroit Lions. Atlanta Falcons and Washington Commanders. I'm very proud of the Washington Commanders not having their star young quarterback. So let's get into it. Michael Penix Jr., I'm very high on him. I think he has a high ceiling. I think he's definitely underrated. I think spending a lot of time in college definitely prepared him for this level. So we'll see, what the Atlanta Falcons need to do overall to continue to build the talent and even on the skill positions for him. Michael Penix Jr. completed 20 of 27 passes for 313 yards, so he had a good game. 2 touchdowns as the Atlanta Falcons topped the Washington Commanders 34-27 in Week 4. The Falcons' offense was highly efficient, generated 0.61 EPA per pass per play, and the defense held off a late rally to move to 2-2 on the year. So shout out to the Atlanta Falcons. I know the city is looking to grow. Sometimes it looked like they ain't recovered from that collapse in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady. The Buffalo Bills and New Orleans Saints. I mean, it's not too much to say. Josh Allen should be the front runner for MVP. Him or Jalen Hurts should be the front runners for MVP. Just however you look at their wins and their competition. But Josh Allen is doing his thing. I mean, they're 4-0. What more can you say? New York Giants and Los Angeles Chargers. I think a lot of people were kind of excited about the Jackson Dart start. I think he gave a lot of energy out there. I think he brought energy that Russell Wilson just doesn't have for the team, and I think the team pulled behind him because when Neighbors caught that ball at around a 25, 30-yard line on the side. And as he's going down, he grabbed his right ankle. You kind of knew it was severe, but you didn't know till the reports came out. I felt like he delivered. I felt like everybody was high on the Chargers and like, hey, they're the team to come out the AFC. You know, we're seeing slippage on the Chiefs. And voila. They lost against the Giants. And no one was predicting that the Giants would do anything. I think the Giants were just trying to, potentially save their jobs and see what they have in the rookie. But, I think he has a bright future. And he's running, something that Russell Wilson used to, be a mastermind at. So I love the win for the Giants. I think they have something to build off. Even though Neighbors is out, I think the team is going to continue to grow and prosper. And I think the Giants should look at this season as, hey, each week, how are we progressing? What are the areas that we continue to need to get better at? I think their defense, they have something on their front four with the rookie that they drafted out of Penn State. I think they have a lot of room for improvement in the right way. I think they can go in this draft in 2026 with the right mindset and get the right things that they need. Let's get into it. Philadelphia Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ultimately, the Eagles came out. Saquon Barkley was held to just 43 yards on 19 carries, and Jalen Hurts threw for only 130 yards. But the last couple of times they met, the Tampa Bay kind of had the edge. So it seemed like as of lately or the last year or two, it's kind of been their kryptonite. They put up a tough fight. But ultimately, the Eagles came through victorious, like I said, 31-25. And it was a very competitive and good game. So, shout out to the Eagles and shout out to the Buccaneers. It was a good game. Los Angeles Rams and Indianapolis Colts. The Rams rebounded from a tough Week 3 loss by handling the previous unbeaten Colts, their first defeated season, 27-20. Critical error for Ananol, I'm probably saying his name wrong, Mitchell, wiped two potential Colts touchdowns off the board, opening the door for the Los Angeles Rams to capitalize. Tutu Atwell, go-ahead touchdown. And Cameron Curl's second interception sealed a tough-fought victory that pushed the Rams to 3-1. Now, we know what the Rams are made of. We know they got a bright future on that defense. It's looking special. It's looking borderline Seattle when Russell Wilson was there. It's looking nice, but I think we need to give a shout out to the Indianapolis Colts. I think Daniel Jones is doing his thing. He's looking good. I watched a little bit of that game, so I could definitely say he looks comfortable. He's actually performing to me under pressure really well. He's making smart decisions, and I think Colts, I hate to say it, Anthony Richardson, I think it's time for you to pack your bags and go somewhere else. Maybe he just needs a new scenery to perform and, come out, highly motivated or whatever. But I'm definitely excited about the Colts this coming season, just to see what they do, because I think Daniel Jones is looking day and night different from his time in New York. Jacksonville Jaguars and San Francisco 49ers. So the Jacksonville Jaguars came out victorious 26-21 of the 49ers. Parker Washington had an 87-yard punt return touchdowns, and the Jaguars, first in 8 seasons, helped fuel a 26-21 win over the 49ers, and backed by a defense that forced 4 takeaways. So the Jaguars are looking nice. They're looking like a team I don't think a lot of people got their high on. I know with Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball, they thought he was going to be like Colorado, but I think he's kind of settling in and realizing this NFL speed. I got to kind of get a little bit more acclimated to it and used to the speed of the game, but I think he'll be fine ultimately. But yeah, shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was pretty dope to watch them. I think they're going to be good, but I don't know where I would kind of place them in as far as just not even the overall NFL standing, but the AFC standing. Kansas City Chiefs and Baltimore Ravens. I don't know to be excited about the Chiefs bouncing back, being 2-2 now, or to look at the Ravens as they're done for. I honestly feel like the Ravens are done. They kind of missed their window. They should have capitalized on last season, the season before. They should have been at least in the Super Bowl at bare minimum. I think the Chiefs, respectfully, if Patrick Mahomes has somebody that's going to get separation, get open, and he could throw the ball to, I think he's going to ultimately, be this generation's version of Tom Brady, where it's like it doesn't matter as long as he has a decent pocket to step up and throw that ball or have time to make plays with his legs. He's going to come in victorious. And I think they're right in the mix. After the Chargers lost, I'm like, oh, yeah, I think we kind of place where they truly belong. I think and I don't even think it's about winning the AFC West. I think at the end of the day, it's about, can you beat Patrick Mahomes when it matters? All he needs is time and to get to the playoffs. If he gets to the playoffs, I haven't seen too many people outside of Joe Burrow and Tom Brady beat him, and Jalen Hurts. Great players, great quarterbacks, but not a lot of people can say they beat Patrick Mahomes. His record is ridiculous. So I'm still putting the Chiefs as the top in the AFC at minimum. Okay, the Chicago Bears and the Las Vegas Raiders, 25-24. I didn't really watch too much of that game. The Bears are the Bears. Who knows? They're so fickle. You don't really know what you're going to get out of them week in, week out. But shout out to Genty. I saw the big run. Get off me. And, maybe that's his coming out. Like, yeah, these next weeks, I'm about to show y'all why I was, one of the top draft picks in this draft. So we'll see if Genty gonna come in, settle in, and perform and have bigger and better games, but we'll see. Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys. Most people don't know, as you can see in the background, I'm a diehard Packers fan. I watched that game from start to finish. I think there's a lot of concerns if you're a Packer fan with Jordan Love. He seems like a poor man's version of Brent Favre. I think he's a good quarterback when he has time to throw the ball. I'm just not sold on him, and can he deliver us a Super Bowl or take us there? Just because at the end of the day, you can't make those bonehead decisions in critical plays. Throwing interceptions, not reading the defense, letting them trick you with their eyes, with the coverage. The defense, I don't know. The secondary is trash. I'm not sold on the secondary since Jair got traded. The corners, McKinley, number 29, he's kind of not looking like the same player from last year to my standard. And so I just got to see as the season go along, is the secondary going to step up? Because if that front four can't get and unravel and make the quarterback uncomfortable, it's almost like our secondary is going to have a hard time covering the more premium, receivers. So we'll see, Minnesota has always given us problems with Justin Jefferson, so we'll see how the season goes on. Can they cover somebody like that, Addison, But shout out to the Cowboys. Can't believe I'm saying this. Dak looked good. Dak performed. Dak had a lot of people quiet, but I'm still not sold on the Cowboys because at the end of the day, as much as they're putting on the board, they're giving up on the board. So as much as his stats look good, your defense didn't stop a cold. Every time you scored, Jordan Love scored. I mean, damn. So to me, it looks like the Green Bay Packers is winning this trade because I don't think with Micah Parsons they would have gave up equal points. So long term, we'll see how the trade pans out. But yeah, that was a good game. But yeah, it ended in a tie. And the Miami Dolphins and New York Jets. Justin Fields, I don't know. I don't really know about him. But the Miami Dolphins won with Tua. No Tyreek Hill. He got tackled on the sideline and his leg pretty much went backwards. The report says he's out until next season. He said as well. He's verified that. Darren Waller came back after being out of the NFL for a while. So it was a good game. Overall, I think fans should be excited about this season because there's no definitive, hey, this team is going to win. But yeah, this is week 4 recaps, and thank you for tuning in.